Well, to paraphrase Richard Nixon, we're not going to have Alina Habba to kick around any longer. She has now officially resigned her role as the District of New Jersey U.S. Attorney. The Chief Legal Officer Federal for all the state of New Jersey has now resigned. She's been promoted, kicked upstairs to be a special advisor to Pam Bondi for all things U.S. attorneys. This following on the heels of a series of decisions by courts against Donald Trump and his Department of Justice and Pam Bondi about U.S. attorneys. To put it in context, you had Alina Habba, who was fired by the Third Circuit Court of Appeals in a bipartisan ruling written by a Bush appointee, Judge Fisher, finding that the Trump administration had violated the Vacancy Reform Act. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then you had Judge Curry, who announced that she was firing Lindsay Halligan under similar but not identical grounds to be the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. And there went Comey and Letitia James indictments along with it. You also had rulings about a Nevada U.S. Attorney, a Central District of California U.S. Attorney, and we're about to get a ruling, could be any moment now, from Judge Schofield in New York against John Sarcone, a Northern District of New York U.S. Attorney who's going to be fired for the very same reason. Alina Habba, the DOJ, Bondi, saw the writing plainly on the wall and said, maybe Alina Habba needs to go. We agree. You're here on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit the free subscribe button. Let's talk about what just happened and why. Now they're going to have to use a first assistant and elevate that first assistant into the chair. They're not going to be able to nominate another what's called acting U.S. attorney, because under the Vacancy Reform Act, you only get one of those, and that one only sits for 120 days. So now they're going to have to elevate whoever's in the first assistant chair, as long as they qualify under the Vacancy Reform Act, until Donald Trump gets around to nominating somebody that can actually be confirmed by the U.S. Senate in a key role like the number 4 or 5 U.S. Attorney's office in the country. This closes a chapter for now, although you heard from Alina Habba in a social media post that she was stepping down as U.S. Attorney, but that we should not mistake compliance with the Third Circuit Court of Appeals ruling for surrender. I'm not sure what that means, but it does mean she's out. Bondi said she was saddened by the departure of Alina Habba. Alina Habba's on a little bit of a losing streak here, folks. She got sanctioned about 3 weeks ago and affirmed her sanction for about $1 million along with Donald Trump in a bad faith filing of a lawsuit when he was still candidate Trump down in Florida. That was affirmed by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. Several days later, the 3rd Circuit Court of Appeals issued their ruling. It also put Donald Trump in sort of a weird position because he placed one of his cronies, one of his criminal defense lawyers, onto the 3rd Circuit Court of Appeals, a guy by the name of Emil Bovee. Sort of be weird for the Department of Justice to be bashing the Third Circuit while one of their own is serving on the Third Circuit. So even though they keep saying they're going to appeal, listen, even if they were to appeal to the United States Supreme Court, as much as this MAGA 6 on the Supreme Court is bending over backwards to help one Donald Trump, I just don't see them allowing him to do an end run around the confirmation and appointment clause of the Constitution in order to keep appointing ad nauseum one acting U.S. attorney after another to try to avoid the Constitution or the statute. Now, what does that mean for Lindsay Halligan? What does that mean for John Sarcone? I don't see this Department of Justice rushing in to appeal to save any of their jobs. Judge Schofield held a hearing about Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, her office moving to quash subpoenas brought by John Sarcone, the Northern District of New York acting U.S. Attorney, again, like Halligan, like Alina Habba, never having been a prosecutor before. And she let it be known at a hearing last week, she's not comfortable with the way that he was appointed either. And he was appointed the same way Alina Habba was. His 120 days is over. He has to leave his job. That's what the statute says. And if they want to have a fight over separation of powers, then so be it. So I see him being kicked out, Habba has already accepted her being fired, and we're waiting to see what the Eastern District of Virginia with Halligan is doing. I think the delay with Halligan is they're trying to get two quote unquote clean indictments of Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, and James Comey, the FBI director, get them obtained through new grand juries without Lindsay Halligan's involvement before they're willing to give up the ship on Lindsay Halligan. But she is never going to be a U.S. attorney confirmed in the Eastern District of Virginia. She's woefully unqualified, unethically so, and everybody knows it. So what's going to happen here now is they're going to make strategic decisions. I think with Lindsay Halligan, they're going to try to get the indictments instead of trying to save her job. John Sarconi, I mean, if the Judge Schofield is very well respected, rules against John Sarconi and bounces him like Habba and Lindsay Halligan, I think they got to have to take their lumps. I don't see the Second Circuit reversing Judge Schofield. And I just don't see the United States Supreme Court, as much as they are contorting themselves to support Donald Trump. In this particular instance, I just don't see it happening. Could be wrong. We'll continue to follow it. What's next for Alina Habba? It sounds like she's not returning to her private practice anytime soon. So she's going to stay in the government, apparently, be some sort of advisor to Pam Bondi. Talk about the blind leading the blind. Apologies to blind people. Pam Bondi does not know what she's doing as Attorney General. She is incompetent and leading the most corrupt office of the Attorney General we've ever seen in our lifetime, or in any lifetime. And of course, she's going to bring in Alina Habba, who's also unethical, also corrupt. I mean, let's remember when she got the job, there is a path where she could have actually kept the job. All she had to do was keep her mouth shut and curry favor with the judges of the district in New Jersey and have them extend indefinitely her time to sit temporarily in the job. That's not what she did. First day on the job, Alina Habba said she's going to turn the blue state of New Jersey red. Does that sound like an independent law enforcement officer? Or does that sound like a political hack? She then went after the mayor of Newark, arrested him, dismissed the charges. Went after Representative LaMonica MacGyver, still prosecuting that case for some reason because she was providing oversight over a federal detention center. Said she was opening up investigations against the governor of the state, Governor Murphy, against the attorney general of the state, Attorney General Matt Platkin. Just ridiculous stuff. How about do your job? Wasn't there enough crime? Wasn't there enough civil enforcement to be done in the state of New Jersey? You had to go looking for trouble. You had to go making up indictments, making up criminal investigations in order to satisfy client number one, Donald Trump. And now where are you? Out of a job. Again. Facing $1 million fine. Again. But listen, I just wanted to come on the air and report that Alina Habba resigned. We'll take it from there. But under the Vacancy Reform Act, unless they're going to challenge the mechanism again, which I doubt they will, they're going to have to put in the first assistant. There's been rumors that in that district anyway, Maine Justice in Washington has been co-signing everything with Alina Habba. She needs a co-signer. So now that chapter, dark chapter of our national nightmare has come to a close. In the meantime, hit the subscribe button here on Legal AF. Help us continue to grow our pro-democracy channel. Till my next report, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states. States and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.